Welcome everyone and welcome to my new vlog called Now That I Am 70, because believe it or not, I am now 70. I hope to create this vlog of all the different things that I'm up to in my retirement and provide a little bit of insight into what it's like to operate as someone 70 years old, and not competing with younger people, but coming at it from a slightly different point of view, because it is a slightly different point of view. I can no longer swing through the trees as I used to, and I have to be a little more careful and think carefully before I do anything. I consider myself a canoeist, even though I have spent time taking part in other activities over the years. It was not until early 2020 that I realised that I had not been in a kayak for almost 40 years. I had taken part in a number of canoe trips, but few, if any, kayak-based activities. It was my wife Anne-Marie who was instrumental in my return to kayaking. She noticed an article in the Irish Times on Atlantic Sea kayaking based in Cork. Thinking that I might be interested in taking part in one of their sea trips, she investigated further and discovered that they ran a trip each year to Baja California in March. Some history here. I have had a map of Baja California in my future trips box for at least 20 years. And the idea of visiting the area, doing some kayaking and seeing grey and humpback whales, sea lions and whale sharks was something I was not going to miss. I must thank Jim and Maria Kennedy, who ran the trip, from the bottom of my heart, as it has opened up a new chapter in my life involving kayaking. The trip was amazing. We were able to see grey whales up close and personal, and to be able to swim with sea lions and whale sharks. On our return from the trip and the arrival of COVID-19, we decided it was unlikely that we would be doing any foreign travel for at least 1 year. Anne-Marie announced that she wanted a kayak and to spend the year ahead exploring the waterways and the sea around the coast of Ireland. I spent several months looking at the available kayaks, which were much different from the ones I had used in the past, and finally decided to order 2 sea kayaks from Valley Sea Kayaks based in Nottingham. Anne-Marie got a Sirona sea kayak, and I was delighted to get a Nordkapp 40, which is almost 18 feet long. I was particularly pleased because a Nordkapp was one of the first commercially made canoes I ever owned. I used one to canoe the North Channel between Ireland and Scotland around about 1978. The company must have decided that they had got it right with the original design and had discarded all the modifications that it had undertaken over the intervening years. This kayak is a joy to paddle. Once it was decided that we would explore the waterways of Ireland, we needed to hire a guide. Human guides are thin on the ground, so instead we bought Irish Canoe Classics, 34 Great Canoe and Kayak Trips by Eddie Palmer and Tony Monaghan. This proved to be a very useful guide, and we were able to select a number of possible trips from the comfort of our living room. One of the first trips identified was number 28, the Royal Canal. I had canoed several of the canals in Ireland, including the Grand Canal and the Barrow Navigation, but had overlooked the Royal Canal. The trip described one of the longest sections without a set of lock gates between the Hill of Down and Kilcock, a distance of 26 kilometres. With only one car, we decided to put in at Hill of Down and paddle towards Kilcock for about 2 hours, and the following day we canoed towards Hill of Down from Kilcock for about the same time, a reasonable compromise. This was a lovely stretch of water with a mixture of scenery along the way, including farmland and tree-lined sections. Our next selections were taken from route number 7, Strangford Lough. The first trip started at Ringhatty Pier and included the circumnavigation of Islandmore Island. The second trip was a return trip from Killalay to the barrage at the mouth of the Coyle River. It is our intention to gradually work through the trips described in the guide whenever possible, and hopefully discover some of our own trips as we regain confidence in our kayaking skills.